This world is cruel, but it's also beautiful. Mikasa Ackerman. That quote from Mikasa Ackerman is about what I learned after watching the beloved anime Attack on Titan. Now, originally, I wasn't gonna make an Attack on Titan video essay after just making one back in September. I had other ideas in mind, but I also remembered that the final episode is coming out this month, so I felt it only made sense if I make a video essay all about how this amazing anime changed my life forever in the month where they end the anime as a whole. I guess to just sort of celebrate the anime before it ends. Or I guess after it ends, because while this video most likely will be released after the final episode, this is being recorded before the final episode comes out. So if I missed any details from the last episode, I guess I just wanted to let everyone know what's up. To start this video off, I'm gonna do what I always do for my world famous video essays and say the build up to how I even heard of and watched the anime as a whole. And I gotta tell you, this is definitely the most personal video essay I've made. Now, I don't want to scare you too much with that. No worries, I'm not gonna spill out a super deep, tragic story of mine. It's more personal in the way of me thinking, hey, I found out something cool about myself, and even this planet Earth as a whole, I suppose. There's a reason I like Mikasa's quote on how the world is a beautiful place. Let's get into it. I'll start this off with an early apology to the anime world. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Before I watched Attack on Titan, I'll admit right here and right now, I used to make fun of anime. I'll roast myself even more for how wrong I was by saying my exact thoughts on anime back then. I used to think anime was, quote, weird, cringy, emo, and for depressed people. Yeah, that's what I thought. And why did I think that? Well, here's another sad confession I'll make. Because I was a narcissist that thought I knew it all. Yeah, I have absolutely exposed my past self right in front of the world. But I don't exactly mind it because I think it further proves my point on how Attack on Titan changed the way I view the world. Attack on Titan was first introduced to me by my twin brother. This was all maybe in the summer of last year, 2022. He was saying how much the show changed his view of the world as well and how great of a show it is. For me, I was already working on a huge movie-length stop-motion project called The 1020 Detective. Explaining what that movie even is for a different time, but I'm simply just going to mention my long-term goal in this world is to start the next big production company, the next big cartoon series. Basically, I'm committed to make something as big as Disney or Marvel, or hey, even Attack on Titan. And so, why not start by letting out my creativity and characters and putting them into a big stop-motion movie? I don't exactly know how to animate yet, so all I can do at this point in time is to just digitally draw them out and put all the pictures together and make it feel like an animated movie. Now, don't get me wrong. While I am proud of the fact that I committed to that project and finished it, and there's still some moments from that movie that I still find entertaining, it also ended up being a failure. It's not that I thought the movie was just gonna magically blow up and hit 1 million views right away and I'd accomplished my biggest dreams at age 23 at the time, but it was more of a failure as in, clearly what worked for me back then is no longer gonna work. I've made movie-length projects basically ever since I was a kid. It was always as simple as I think of a creative story, get to work, and release it to friends and family. And I'll admit, I think their reactions is kind of what made me feel like a narcissist. I mean, yeah, I'm grateful that they supported my work and all, but it was my fault that I let it get to a level it never should have been at. As I got older, I think legit, my mindset was, well, I never make bad stuff. I know what I'm gonna release is gonna impact many people's lives, so no matter what, I'm going to make something epic. But I was mistaken. My brother clearly developed his mindset over the years and said honest criticisms about the 1020 Detective movie I made. He was honest and said, Logan, this was not your best work. You're sticking with what worked back then as a kid and teenager. If you're trying to get your content out to the world, you need to learn new things and try different strategies. And I'm happy he said that. It truly did make me sit back and think, huh, he's right. I don't know it all. I do need to learn new things and strategies. But how can I start that? I remember him saying how the anime Attack on Titan changed the way he views things and how great it was. And I guess I just thought, hey, that's something new. I've never seen an anime my whole life. What if my brother's right that it'll change the way I view things? How can I judge anime if I never watched it before? Maybe I should give this show a chance. And so, I finally started watching it. Now, because it was my first ever anime I ever watched, I didn't totally adjust to their style yet. Like, just the facial expressions and the reactions you'd hear, and even their music was all just kind of weird to me at first. But I also kept thinking, alright, it's only been 3 episodes, you're just not used to this yet, keep giving it a shot. And now comes the exciting part of this video essay for me. Pinpointing all the things that I absolutely loved about the anime. Turns out, being patient and giving it a shot was a move worth 1,000 rewards. Why did I love this anime so much? I'll tell you. Number 1, character development. It's usually pretty rare, I feel, for a movie, show, video game, or something to truly make you feel the exact emotions the fictional characters feel. For me, there were really only 2 moments in my life where I could feel the exact amount of emotion the main protagonist felt. And ironically, both of them was in anger, and they both can be viewed as either a hero or a villain, depending on your point of view. The first time was in 2018's Red Dead Redemption 2. When Hosea died, I could just feel Arthur Morgan's rage, yet fear, at the same time. I knew the game was doing a good job where I could almost feel like I myself am Arthur Morgan. And the other time was in Attack on Titan Season 1, Episode 25, Whoa, Assault on Stohez, Part 3, I think that's how you say it. I get you understand Annie's story later on, but when I first was watching the scene where Aaron's squaring up with Annie, wondering why she has to betray her comrades and attack Aaron's home, I felt that anger. I was all on Aaron's side. I wanted him to get rid of Annie, make sure his village is safe. Like, I just totally understood his anger. And it goes back to what I said about Red Dead Redemption 2. If the anime can make me feel like I'm Eren Yeager himself, the show is doing a damn good job. But it wasn't just that. This was the first show where I just wondered, who was a bad character? Every single character to me was just extremely thought out well. But it wasn't just the fact that the characters were thought out well. I loved how the show made you change your opinion on them as the story went on. For example, to be honest, I didn't really like Levi in the beginning. I guess I hated how much of a realist he was, but as the show went on, I felt like he started caring even more about his comrades, and he didn't really catch a fit on if he was wrong about something. He started to become more open-minded, like choosing to revive Armin over Commander Erwin of all people. Speaking of Armin, he's another character to where in the beginning I was like, he's a wussy, he's too scared to fight. But as the story went on, I thought, damn, not only is he starting to grow out of his comfort zone, but the squad goes absolutely nowhere without his brilliant mindset. Him burning up trying to stop the Colossal Titan was actually very emotional for me, knowing I did like Armin, and I wanted him to make it through. Of course, how can you ignore Rhina's story? At first, we all probably hated him, but once you get to understand his side of the story, suddenly, he doesn't look so much like a villain anymore. And Gabi. At first, I thought this annoying teenage girl is getting on my nerves, but she also developed. She started understanding that maybe her village can be wrong. What matters more is to just, I guess, save the world. Like, honestly, I could make a video essay describing literally all of the Attack on Titan character developments and why they were so great. It really is pick your poison on who you think was probably the best character. I loved Hanji a lot, but man, I feel bad that I kind of liked her over Armin because Armin was also awesome. I don't know. They're all great. It taught me as a story writer to truly make sure every character is impactful in the same way. Ironically, that actually was one of the criticisms my brother had of the previous movie I made. Some of the characters just weren't well developed. Well, now I know to make sure all of the characters impact the audience in some sort of way. Number 2, cool discoveries. Alright, so this one's interesting. The anime also made me realize so many cool things about the world and even about myself that I never thought I'd like, but I do. I mean, honestly, to start, I never thought I'd rave about an anime, but here I am with 2 video essays over one of them, and I'm currently watching more anime to not only get cool ideas for the future, but because it turns out it isn't for weird, emo people like I said. Turns out maybe you shouldn't judge something until you try it. And anime ends up being something I'm really getting into. But it's not just that. It's all the little things even that was big for me to learn and appreciate. Such as when anime does the little gasping thing. And their style of editing was just different. I've never really seen it before, but it made me appreciate something new. And yes, even the waifu and husbando thing anime has going on for them, I don't know. I think it's kind of cute that there's a bunch of fictional characters that you can crush on, yet also relate with. As a story writer, it made me realize maybe I should try different styles of art. I don't always have to stick with the simplistic style I've been doing as a kid. Try drawing something new and see where it goes. Some other little things that happen, but yet is heartwarming to me, is things as, if I had to choose a fictional character from the anime, it'd be Mikasa Ackerman. Now, I won't explain why solely because I kind of feel like I did that in the previous Attack on Titan video essay, but what I find heartwarming is I finally found my favorite fictional female character. There was a moment where I thought, don't get me wrong, I'm happy I've looked up to a lot of fictional characters such as Spider-Man, Isaac Clarke from Dead Space, Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2, and yes, honestly, even SpongeBob SquarePants, but I never really had a fictional female character as my favorite from a show or a movie, a game, that I look up to, until now. Most people probably don't think much of that, but to me, I don't know, I just find it cool that something new happened. I have a new female character that I like. But perhaps the coolest discovery that Attack on Titan helped me find was possibly a new home to move to. Last month, I was in Texas, and I saw that Funimation's headquarters was near Dallas, and I, to be honest, was just curious and simply wanted to drive near it and see what it looked like and all that. But as I did so, I went through Dallas, Texas, and I freaking loved it. If I didn't want to see Funimation, honestly, I probably wouldn't have seen Dallas, Texas. So, even new locations is how Attack on Titan impacted me. And the last way Attack on Titan impacted my life was through business and life decisions. Now sure, you could maybe tie reasons 1 and 2 into it because it taught me I need to develop characters better or try different drawing styles and all that, but there's other things it taught me, like take risk. What they did with Eren Yeager, I mean, that takes guts. To change your main character from an innocent child to a giant-ass skeleton that's about to eliminate the whole entire world. But did he change though? Because his reasonings for the rumbling make a ton of sense. The signs were actually there that he'd be this way the whole way through, we just weren't paying attention. It's an interesting risk that they took that was worth taking, and they broke the rules a bit for how to make the main character. It also taught myself to understand the other side of the story. Throughout the show, you always think that characters like Reina as a bit of a villain, but once you see his side of the story, you're not so sure if he's a villain. And I think we need a bit more of that in this world. Understanding other people's side of the story before you make any judgments. Or not even just people, but with other things in this world. Kind of like me with anime. So to conclude this video essay, I'll end it off by saying, there's always ways you can evolve and be better than you are. You just have to pay attention. I wouldn't have understood better life and business skills had I never watched Attack on Titan. I wouldn't have even gave it a chance had I never listened to my brother's advice. There's also things that you may think you don't like until you try it. Before you judge something, make sure you understand their side of the story. And you never know. You could find many new interesting things that you never thought you'd like. This is also the part where I say, thank you, Attack on Titan, for changing the way I view life. It's Thanksgiving month anyway, so I might as well share something I'm grateful for. This world may seem cruel, but if you really, really dive deep into what the world has to offer and how you can be better from it, you never know what cool discoveries you may find, and you never know how you can evolve as a person.